Hey guys, my name's Beckett, and we're in for a doozy today, so go ahead, sit back, and I hope you guys enjoy. So, are YouTubers destroying the communities that they love for views, or do they bring up valid points on games today? Now, I strongly believe if you're going to report on any news in any aspect, from politics to gaming, it is your job to show both sides of the coin and give your opinion on the matter. You know, we will always have certain bias towards things we love and things we hate, and that's okay. It's only human nature. It's just part of the process. So the problem lies in when we have content creators constantly pointing out negative content on a game because it grabs views, or vice versa, only putting out positive content when the game is in serious trouble. We have to see good for what it is and commend it, as well as be a heavy critic on our favorite games when it's going down the wrong path. Otherwise, we're just as bad as CNN or Fox News, just putting a bad spin on trending items because it gains views, it's getting people watching, you know, stuff like that. And this has become such a bad trend that I can't remember the last time looking at my YouTube feed and not seeing negative coverage on every game. Like every single game, it's just out of control, and I can't believe it. And this has become an irresponsible trend to ourselves, our gaming communities, and viewers we cherish so much. Now, I always like to point out the good, amazing content creators for Destiny who praise Bungie and who can also be critical in the same note, such as Dado. I'm sure you guys all know who Dado is if you're watching this video. We have Aztec. He's like a PvP guy, but he does a lot of reviews and a lot of funny content. I love him. And Houndish, probably one of my favorite on that list. Just he really sticks to the news. He does a lot of things. He's very informative. Just all around great stuff. They all put out great content, but their quality is often drowned out with like a sea of negativity. And we also need to call out bad for bad. Many YouTubers for Destiny thought so highly of the game when the views were coming in, but as soon as that tanked, we saw their true light. But I'm not going to get into every YouTuber that has just made a hate video on YouTube. That's too many. I just want to talk about a couple of gross offenders in my opinion, and they're kind of big guys. I'm punching up, I guess you could say. So first off, I just want to mention Jim Sterling. Like, I love a lot of his content. He produced a lot of good stuff, but I saw one video and I can kind of see where he's going with Destiny after just seeing that, and it's just him critiquing Bungie for advertising their game on PlayStation dashboard. That is just mind-blowing and ridiculous. That's like condemning McDonald's for advertising Big Macs just because you prefer Whoppers. It just doesn't make any sense in my mind why a developer or Activision wouldn't want to advertise their game. They're running a business, they got to keep it going. And either you're out of content or you're just cashing on views. What is it? And now the next one I want to mention, and the last one, is Yang Ye. I mean, I used to love it. He was very informative content, did a lot of news on a lot of different games that I loved. Until I noticed a trend in his videos, and let's just have a look at that. In the past 2 weeks, I would say about 9 of the he makes about a video a day. 9 of those videos were devoted to like a hate spiel on Bungie, whether it's the PS4 ads, Eververse, shaders, all that stuff, which really is not that important, or holiday events. It seems like he just repeats the same points over and over and over again, and it's kind of getting old, you know. Like, he's just repeating it, he's getting those views, he's getting that money, so what else are you going to tell us? Now, the question I have, I'm going to look at both sides, guys. You know, do they have valid points? Or are they just milking the views? So let's delve into where Bungie failed and find out. Now, I don't believe that ads or the Eververse or the shaders or the holiday events were ever the problem. I really think Bungie's inaction led to this point, and the cosmetics and DLC and events were something for us to gravitate towards, just to pull the trigger on Bungie and say we're done. We received a game that had left everything behind, everything that the live team in Destiny 1 had built up, all the amazing stuff, all the amazing content, PvP, different game modes, all this stuff, heroic strikes, and we were left with bland weapons, and the player base was expected to be okay with a bare bone game and just be like, okay, we're just hitting reset from Destiny 1, starting all over, and now we got to figure out what we're going to do again. You guys had everything. It was like the live team didn't even communicate with us. No, we're just going to do our thing, But although Bungie has made some strides to bring things back, like the strikes, the heroic strikes, and it should already been there, and the masterworks, which actually make certain guns that were useless in Crucible a lot better now. But the game still feels empty and boring at times. Now, Destiny 1 was far from perfect, and actually kind of felt broken like 90% of the time. Now that I look back, even in Destiny 1's worst times, biggest content droughts, we always had an amazing Crucible experience. Although it was a bit laggy, I always had fun. Even when I was bad and I had like a 0.7 KD, it was a blast for me all the time. And this is what binded together and built an amazing community around the whole entire game. Now, in the same boat, this is Destiny 2's biggest failure. Crucible is lackluster and just boring. I can go 4.0 in a match and just not care about the game, not have fun. I'm just like, why am I here? Now, with the raised time to kill, this kind of created an inception of team shooting, making solo play useless, and just actually watching Crucible like on Twitch or something, just like a static, it's just like, this is not enjoyable to watch. I'd rather be watching something else, doing something else. And in causing this, it really started splitting a wedge in between the community, and you could see just everyone getting mad. Everyone on one side, everyone on another. It was like Hillary and Trump. It was getting really bad. Now, where in Destiny 1, everything was still fresh and exciting at the time, now we expect more from the developer we love so much. And now we've come to the boiling point. Where do we go from here? With a player base demanding everything fixed, new DLC, and Eververse removed immediately, Bungie has put themselves in a bad situation. Any misstep or perceived misstep will only feed the fire for their critics, waiting for more ammunition in I got you videos from YouTubers and news outlets. Moving forward, Bungie needs to make every decision and thought with the mind of their true player base in mind, the hardcore players, the people who come back every day. Now, I know they've said this in the past, just a little bit ago, but we need to see it happen. We need prove it to us. You need to prove yourself to your players again. And now removing Eververse with the excuse that it is a full price game and you just shouldn't have it. Where are the critics of Overwatch in a full price game with loot boxes and no content besides PvP? You can't give me that excuse. It just doesn't work for me. And Eververse doesn't really affect me. And the biggest claim being that it's paid shaders is not a thing in my honest opinion. The best shaders come from activities and not tests. I do disagree with the ships and ghosts being locked behind a loophole, and I think it's a huge mistake. I do miss when the best ships came from factions, came from raids, came from PvP and stuff like this, and the ghosts too. And I hope they do both with Eververse, and we get some epic rewards like ships and stuff for completing the hard content. Like the Crota's End. That was always my favorite ship. I don't know why, but I thought it looked amazing. So to remove Eververse is a choice I'm afraid Bungie doesn't have, and this is a move that can't happen. Activision will expect a new revenue stream, and how will that happen? What are they going to replace with it? It could be worse, it could be better. There are options. They could implement a monthly subscription, but I don't know if the player base would go for that like the WoW player base do, but I would be up for it. If we have non-stop content flowing through, we always have something to do, and everything is always out there, I would have that over microtransactions, micro DLC, whatever you want to call it. And I would sign up immediately. But if they can't do this, we could see something much worse bordering on EA's bad practices or a pay-to-win loot boxes like we see in Call of Duty for weapons and stuff like that. And I know no one wants to see that. Now, what are your ideas? What would you do to improve the state of the game? Let's have a clean and open discussion in the comments. And as always, hit that subscribe and have a great day. Thank you guys.
Treat me